Hello PE 555. This is my response video for week 7 on becoming an agent of change. So the first question is, how can you find a healthy balance between engaging with available technology and staying connected to real life experiences? I think that a healthy balance is using technology as a type of aid and not a lifeline. And so what I mean by that is using it to help you in a certain way, but not depending on it, and also being able to live without it. So I remember a couple weekends ago, I went to Mexico for the weekend and we got picked up, and 10 minutes into the drive, I'm like, oh, I forgot my phone. And everybody was like, oh, we're turning around. And I'm like, no, I don't need it. I can go a few days without my phone. And surprisingly, I didn't think about it once, and it was actually kind of nice. But I don't think that everyone would feel that way. So I would say the balance is using it where needed, but not relying on it or not being able to live without it. I think that, so in tying in the movie Moneyball, I think that, they were using their brains and technology and kind of like use this weird like math algorithm to pick their players. But I don't think that it consumed them. I think that they kind of just used what was in front of them or what they had. And then another example of consumption is in the book. It talks about fantasy sports, and I was smiling reading this whole section about fantasy because my husband plays fantasy football, and we have this joke about how I don't really get to hang out with my husband for 6 months out of the year because there's the preparation for the draft, there's the actual draft, then there's preseason, and then there's the whole season. And it's very time consuming, and that is an example of where I think something new in technology can consume someone. And so there could be boundaries there, and that's a discussion that I would have with him, that I've already had with him, and I have to keep it down because he's in the other room. Anyway, moving on. How do your values and ethics impact the way you engage online? I am a huge believer of being present, being in the moment, and just enjoying life. I am totally guilty of getting caught on my phone, especially in downtime. If you're like in a line or you're waiting for something, it's so easy to go to Facebook or check your email. And so I'm totally guilty of that. But when I'm in a setting where I'm with friends or family, it's really not difficult for me to put my phone away. And so I value that, and because of that, I make sure that I am present, and that I keep my online and social media and all that limited. What boundaries or limits do you put on your social media usage? So my husband and I went to a marriage conference actually at Azusa Pacific in April, and it was amazing. And one of the things they talked about was digital, what they call digital addictions. And my husband and I both looked at each other and were like, yep, we're that couple who lays in bed and we are on our phones. And so I made it a point since April, to not lay in bed with my phone open. It doesn't matter what it is. So once I hit the bed, no more phone. So I've started reading, which has been really nice. try to get my husband on the same bandwagon, but he's on his own journey and his time will come. But that's a boundary that I've set for myself. Another one I'd like to take a step further is to not have my phone on my nightstand at all. So I could charge it outside my room. There's this crazy, crazy thing called an alarm clock that I can use for an alarm where I don't need my phone. But I'm not quite there yet. That's the next step. And then a statement about my experience using the iOS battery usage feature. So the statement I'll give So I wanted to share with you what my usage was. So I am actually on the last 24 hours. The top 3 were Maps. I had to drive a lot today, so that's probably not fair. But it was Maps, my phone. So in the last 24 hours, Maps 41 minutes, my phone 49 minutes, and Facebook for 10 minutes. So I don't even remember being on Facebook today, but whatever, proof. And then I asked my husband for his phone because I was really curious and he doesn't know what I'm doing with it. And so in his last 24 hours, I knew this would happen because he plays backgammon all the time. He plays it in bed. He plays it when we watch TV. That is a digital addiction. So his, of course, is backgammon. 4 hours. In the last 24 hours, how have you played backgammon for 4 hours? Just saying. YouTube and Chrome. So those are comparison. This is Married Life, and this is us, the Simons. Just wanted to invite you into that. So my statement after reading that article would be to really take a digital detox. I really loved that because I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy to step away from that, and even in just 24 hours, just detox from digitalness. I think that counts as a statement. All right, the last question. What advice would you give your students or athletes as to how they can use technology or social media appropriately? This is a great question because I have a lot of athletes who are obsessed with Snapchat, and it drives me up the wall. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know how to regulate that because it's something fun and it's something that they enjoy, but at the same time, I feel like they're missing out. They're missing out on the van ride and the jokes and the laughs and the stories and the getting to know people, and I guess I answered that. So I would emphasize the things that they're missing because they're so preoccupied with this, and their heads are down. This is literally what it looks like. It's just and so I would just encourage them to step out of that, to maybe take a digital detox themselves, and maybe write down their experience so that they have it on record, and just kind of test the waters and see how it goes, because technology is growing, as we saw in the video. I mean, one thing that was really shocking and borderline disturbing was towards the end. It talked about how by the year 2020, robots will be replacing 5 million workers. So it's 47% of jobs will be lost. And that's next year. So it's a little concerning, a little alarming in that sense. So on one hand, technology can be really great. It can be useful. I think it's a great tool, especially in education. But if you take a different avenue, then it can really take over your life, and you won't get to experience all the goodness and the beauty in the world because you're consumed by a device and not life. Ooh, that's a good one. Don't be consumed with a device, be consumed with life. Amen. So that is my response video. Thank you for watching for the whole 10 minutes. I can't wait to hear what all of you had to say. Bye.